Colossians 3, verse 2, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. How solemn and full of meaning are these words. To set the affections on heavenly things is to realize the ardent desire of the apostle that he might know him and the power of his resurrection. Philippians 3:10. Oh, there is a mighty elevating power in the resurrection of Christ. It is the great lever of a child of God, lifting him above earth heavenward. To know that he is closely and inseparably one with the risen head of the church is to be the subject of a continuous, quickening influence, which in spirit raises him up from the dust and darkness and pollutions by which he is surrounded, fixing the affections with greater ardency of devotion and supreme attachment on things above. Nothing will more satisfy and elevate our hearts than to have them brought under the power of Christ's resurrection. Following him by faith from the dust of earth to the glory of heaven, the affections will ascend with their beloved. Where he is, the heart's most precious treasure, there it will be also. And oh, to have the heart with Christ in heaven, what an unspeakable mercy. And why should it not be? Has earth more that is attractive and lovely, holy and worthy of its affection than heaven? Here we are encircled by and in combat with spirits of darkness and pollution, principalities and powers. There is an innumerable company of angels. Here we are much separated from the church of God. There is the general assembly and the church of the firstborn. Hebrews 12:23, from whom nothing will divide us. Here the divine presence is often withdrawn, and we are taunted and accused by our foes. There is God the judge of all, whose presence will be our eternal glory, who will bring forth the righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Psalm 37:6. Here we often hang our heads in sorrow at the imperfections we mark in the saints. There are the spirits of just men made perfect, without fault before the throne. Here we often lose sight of our beloved Lord. There is Jesus the mediator of the new covenant. Hebrews 12:24. Never more to be veiled from our view. Oh, then how much richer and more attractive is heaven than earth to a renewed and holy mind, each moment growing richer and more attractive by the accession of its happiness of those, the holy and loved ones of the earth, who have for a little while preceded us to that world of perfect bliss. Our treasure and glory, how rapidly it accumulates. Death, which impoverishes us here by snatching from our embrace the objects of our love, by that same act augments our riches in heaven into the full possession and enjoyment of which it will, in its appointed time, beneficently translate us. But the sweetest, the most powerful attraction of heaven, let us never forget, is that Jesus is there. What would heaven be were he absent? Could we at this moment rush into the fond embrace of our dearest and the glorified ones, and meet not the chief among 10,000, the altogether lovely one, who on earth was more precious to our hearts than life itself? Oh, how soon would its glory fade from our eye, and its music pale on our ear. It would cease to be heaven without Christ. Even on earth, his presence and his smile constitute the first dawning of that better world. He who lives most in the enjoyment of this, and oh, how much more may be enjoyed than we have the faintest conception of, has most of the element of heaven in his soul. Aim then to cultivate heavenly affections by a life of high communion with God.